Hey everybody, I'm Tim here with Jon Simon from Warfighter Cigar, and today he's thinking outside the box, and you're watching Cigars Daily. Hey, get a whole lot more out of this video when you join the community on Cigars Daily Plus and when you watch it on Rumble. And today we're going to talk about something colossal to the cigar industry. That is the look, the feel, the essence of presentation. Thank you for hanging out with me today, brother.
Thank you for having me.
So, a couple of things. Number one, I think you got to come clean about something today.
Okay.
You confused the shit out of everybody with your boxes.
It was, in our opinion, it made perfect sense. And then we did everything. Everything went into production, and then we were like, oh, no, we messed up.
So Warfighter has been around for almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
And what you guys did, I think it made sense to you, and I believe it probably also made sense to guys who have been in the military.
It did. For a group of people, it was perfect. And in our minds, because that's all we knew. And it worked great. And then we went live, and we launched everything, and then our average cigar smoker who wasn't in the military was just like, wait, what?
This is like
why are they both 5.56? Why are they both 7.60?
Right.
Like, oh no, we messed up.
I've noticed this, like, one of the number one things that cigar makers do is, like, you make an idea, you make something that makes perfect sense to you, but doesn't make sense to other people because they don't have the same information. I personally did not serve in the military. Jon did. He's keeping us all safe, and he is sacrificing for our country, and then made a brand of cigars that military people understood well. But you were telling me earlier, people would come in and be like, oh yeah, I really like the 7.62.
Yeah. They're like, oh, Field of Garrison. They're like, what? And I'm like, tan band or shiny band? And they're like, what? And I'm like, you know what? Hey, I appreciate that you told me you like my cigars. That's awesome. Keep smoking them, man. We're gonna keep making them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, it was very confusing, And when I know we've sat down in the past and we've recorded some stuff, and I've gone down and explained why we did it, and even for you, you're like, oh man, that makes total sense.
Right.
But I can't explain it to every single smoker across the world. I don't, I wish I could. And we put out videos, we've tried to do explanations and all that kind of stuff because we realize that, it makes perfect sense to us, but to the average smoker, that does not make any sense to them, and it's just confusing.
I'll tell you, it's a thing that's common, and this is a big deal. I wanted to make this video with Jon because in the cigar world, there's a lot of people who say, like, oh, the package, it doesn't matter to me. I'm here for the cigar. I'm here for the blend. I'm here for the flavor. But the truth is, this stuff matters an unbelievable amount.
Huge.
You wouldn't even consider it until you get into the fact that what we do is the same. Everybody rolls round brown,
yeah.
And that's it makes it impossible to differentiate cigars without a label on them, without the look, the feel, and the image, and that becomes a part of the character of the brand that And somehow you guys built a colossal following, a true love for Warfighter Cigars, even through a couple of little hiccups that today we're going to show how you have corrected. You fixed something.
So I think our biggest thing that's helped us over all the years is we admit that we mess up.
Yeah.
And we're more brutal to ourselves about it. Like, you can't be any harder on me than I am on myself, or Scott is on him, or we are on each other because of our mistakes. But we're very open. Like, we've made every mistake, but we've never done it twice.
Right, yes.
Which means we're learning. Like, if I did, oh man, I messed this up so bad. And then 2 years down the road, I'm like, oh man, I messed it up again. That's me. Yeah, I didn't learn. Yeah. I still made bad decisions, And so when we did our repackaging, we're like, okay, look, we can't make mistakes on this like we did back in the day because we just didn't know what we didn't know.
Yes.
And now we know a lot more. Like when we designed our bands, we're like, oh, this is beautiful. I can't take a picture. I can hold this up, right? Look, it's all reflective. You can't see what it is.
All the Warfighter fans at home are like, yes!
Yes! I'm going to take a picture, put it on social media. And they're like,
it's all fuzzy.
I can't. And it blows it out with the light, and I'm like, oh man, okay.
So there's a few things. I'm going to outline these for everybody at home so we can see what you've really addressed here, because we've got some new boxes in from Warfighter, and so there's a couple of things. Number one, the bands on the Garrison line are just too reflective. They were bronze, and they were silver, and they were gold, and they were beautiful.
And they're very shiny.
But even for me, from the perspective that I have to take a lot of pictures of cigars, that's an impossible. It was impossible.
You can't take a picture of it.
So that one, and then the other side of it is what you said before. each one of your lines, and you had the field line, which was sort of the field cigars, a little bit less of a nicotine kick for when you got to focus. The Garrison line's a little punchier for when you're back at the Garrison. But each one of these also had its own caliber on. I got the 50 cal field Maduro. You got the 762 Garrison. And so you addressed all of this stuff. And that's what I want to dive into right now. So let's start with the field box. The field box is freaking cool now. So I'm going to take these. I'm going to remove them from our field division here.
I'm going to kind of go in order. You want me to do one at a time? You want to bring them all?
I bring them all. Let's lay them across, dude. This is now an utterly different presentation. So take me through the trenches here. What I see off the map, if you guys can't tell from the screen, there's sort of a topographical map look behind this. But now our calibers are really big on this. So how do we clarify this versus the Garrison line, which also had the calibers? And go for it.
Okay, so on our field line, what we did is we got really good feedback from our night shift box. Right, it was a little bit out of the norm.
The night shift box,
and
is nice.
And so we were like, you know what, like, we're doing this whole change right now, and we had the cabinet style boxes, which they're amazing for some humidors because they're a small footprint. But if your humidor is pretty big, that small footprint, that customer just walks right by it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And with the green subdued, it just blends right in. It doesn't. You have no.
It's like a guy in a ghillie suit hiding in the bushes.
It was, and it was done by design, and it was like one of those things where it's like, this is awesome. This is exactly the look we're going for our field line of cigars for guys that are in the field. And then we're like, man, we just camouflaged our cigars. Like when you walk into a humidor and you look, it just disappears on a shelf. And so we wanted to keep our military theme, our caliber type field feel to our new design. And when we did it with the boxes, we started using a little bit of more topo stuff in some of our branding that we've been doing. And we're like, you know what? This goes perfect in the field because you always have a map with you. And all of our military maps are topo maps because you don't need to know straight line distance obviously works great, but you need to know if I have to walk around this 1,000-foot mountain or not because I can't just go up and over it. So we started incorporating the topo and a lot of the things. We changed a lot of stuff on the bands and the boxes to really drive home that caliber specific aspect.
This is one of my favorite things about the whole.
So our 556 Field Connecticut shade, it absolutely 100% the same exact blend. We did not change the cigars one bit. The only thing we did are the bands and the boxes.
So you guys know, he's saying that because anytime a cigar maker changes their packaging in any way, the diehards.
Everything changed. That's not the same anymore.
They changed the blend, those bastards. They got rid of my favorite cigar.
So all we did was 10 years ago when we designed our original bands, our core line of cigars, we didn't know anything on how this industry works. We didn't. We thought we had a great idea on it, right? And then the more and more you start selling, the more you start growing, the more you realize that, oh man, I messed all of this up. There's no way that I can keep this forever. You know what I mean? It's not. And there was no wrapper. You had no idea. It was a 556.
Right.
That's all it said on it.
Right.
Outside of Warfighter Tobacco. Okay, well, but there's two of them, a 556 Field, 556 Garrison. It was so confusing. So now we just simplified everything. So on the bands and on the box, we have 556 Field Connecticut. And then we have an M4 and we have an M249 saw, which are both 556 caliber weapons. On our 762 Field Sumatra, we have an M24 sniper rifle and an M240 Bravo machine gun. Both of them are 762 platforms. On our 50 cal Field Maduro, we have Barrett, and then we have an M2 50 cal machine gun. Both of them are 50 caliber platforms. You know what I mean?
The gun nuts right now are just like, like that's what they all like wanted.
When we were designing this, we were trying to figure out, and I'm just like, you know what? No, this is it. Like this is unmistakable. They're for gun people at least. For people that aren't, they're gonna be like, I don't know what these are. They're just even firearms. They're black and they're scary.
I'll give you my perspective just briefly on this because I said I didn't serve in the military, but I do like firearms.
Right.
This is like very clear to me. Like the 7.62 millimeter, the 5.56, the 50 cal, like that's indistinct, like very, very distinct. And then the wrapper names underneath, nice big font. I can at least remember that. If I'm not a gun guy at all, I don't really know much about guns. You know, my dad's afraid of guns, so he doesn't. We never had one. I can at least remember the wrapper name, and so now there's a cohesive set of like identifiers for this stuff that makes it easy to see.
And so
and like little lock thingies here.
Yep. And then on the bands. We essentially tried to mimic the front of the box so you know exactly where you're getting. So you have that, and it's going to be hard for you guys to see on this, but Tim's got some close-ups. You have 556 Field Connecticut shade. Plain as day. On the box, 556 Field Connecticut shade. On the backside, you have those same firearms to designate. You have a little bullet or a casing, the back end of a casing with a primer, and it has 556 Field on it. We tried to make it as simple as possible. Handmade in Esteli, and we put when we were established on here. Little topo, a little American flag, because, you know, everyone loves America.
Yeah.
And that's it. We did a redesign to make sure that we have all the pertinent information on the band so the consumer knows exactly what this cigar is, whether it's in a box or not. Because our old designs of the bands, if it wasn't in the box, there was no information on the band. So we messed up so bad 10 years ago. We didn't even know.
This is the thing. So this is the thing that I like about a project like this. You see guys like Jon, who've been doing this now for about a decade. Obviously, you did plenty right because Warfighter has done well.
Yeah, we had to do something right.
Out of all the brands that started within the last 10 years, most didn't make it. Even today, the average shelf life for a brand new cigar brand is like 18 months.
Right.
And it may even be shorter than that now. You go to the trade shows every year, you see so many brands change out. Warfighter's not one of those. You guys are like, you've stood the test of time. A decade is a solid like length for a cigar industry or for a cigar company. And now you've got legs to grow. But even more than that, this is like when you sit down with the old bull who's got the wisdom behind it. He's seen what mistakes that have been done. And if you can ever learn from somebody, by the way, you always want to learn from somebody who's made all the mistakes and learn from it. That's what you've done.
You can learn from reading. You can learn from doing everything else. But you don't legitimately learn until it hurts.
Yeah.
And when it hurts, and the more it hurts, the harder you learn it. And the more you will never make that mistake again. You know what I mean? And there were things that we've done. And, you know, like, obviously, like, our bands on our old cigars, it didn't hurt, right? But over the last 10 years, the feedback and the confusion and losing sales, that hurt.
Yeah.
And it hurt because we didn't have clear branding. Look, we had good branding. We had good content. But there was confusion on some of our products, and that hurt us, right? And that pain that we felt with that, it was just like, no, we're not doing this ever again. We're making sure that from moving forward, everything is so clear and so concise, and there's no confusion for our consumer. And this is the product that we came out with.
This represents a profound amount of work. Like if you watch the channel for any period of time, you know that packaging in cigars is the worst part of it. Like it's easily the most difficult part of it. To come up with a interesting box design and to redesign the whole box, it's a profound amount of work. The blending, I would imagine, is the enjoyable part. You smoke a bunch of cigars.
Yeah, but we also did complete band and box redesign for 6 lines of cigars, not 6 individual cigars, because each one of our lines, we have multiple sizes, and each box is different. And some of the sizes are different. So we had to see, oh man, is that band going to work? Or is that too big? Or is it too small? You know, and so we had to put all of those factors into everything that we were doing to design wise. And, you know, you get down to a Robusto, and these boxes are very unique because how they present. And then you change the length of the cigar, and then now the box is you're like, oh, whoa, hold on. You know, and so we had to do a sample of this and a sample of that and this and that. And, you know, so this whole project took us like almost 10 months. Wow. And it was just because there was so much stuff, and it was like, we can't mess this up again. You know what I mean? Like when we launch this, when we release all these cigars, they have to be exactly how we want them to be for the next 10 years. So we don't do the same thing that we just did.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's been a wild ride. And it's been, I mean, there were times where I don't have any hair, but I wanted to pull it all out. You know, I realized that like some of the factories in Nicaragua, like the box factories, there's not guys that speak English. right? And then there were days where I'm like, these guys don't even speak Spanish. Like, what is going on right now? We had translators. We brought guys down with us that, like, hey, like, how good your Spanish? Like, I grew up, like, my whole entire family and blah, blah, blah. I've been speaking this for years. I'm completely fluent. I know every single word. I'm like, awesome, let's go. We bring them down there and they're like, I don't know why these guys don't understand. You know what I mean? And it's like, what? I don't know what else we can do to make this work. It really tested us. But we finally got through it. So.
This is one thing I've come to respect about you a lot. Like, I've seen a lot of this in the cigar world, repackaging, when you realize the little intricacies. And truthfully, if you're watching this, if you write music or you're a wood craftsman or you do anything where you make something, you have a creation of your own, you do your own leather designs, you do stuff. The little things at first, the little mistakes, the little inaccuracies become huge down the road. Those are the things that, like, you look at it, that's all you see is that one little mistake, right? And so how is this for you now, like, on a personal level, having the full redesign? This is just the field boxes here. We've got garrison boxes as well. How is this for you? I'm just going to put these two out.
Yeah. So I absolutely love it.
Oh, we didn't cut the
label. I didn't even open them.
Slice that bad boy. So these are the garrison boxes, and they've got similarly the same idea. There you can photograph them in the band on the cigar, and it's really good. But for you on a personal level, how is this to have a new look and a feel all the way across Warfighter that's very cohesive and consistent?
It's so amazing. And I'm trying not to be biased about it because we spent so much effort in this project.
Yeah.
But it is. If we could have went back to day one and if we came out of the gate with this look, I don't know what would have happened in 10 years.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so I'm so excited for the next 10 years over what we have and just the facelift, for lack of better words, our upgrades. In the military, we always had this saying, constantly improve your foxhole. Right? Mm-hmm. When you build a foxhole, you dig a hole, and you don't just get in it and sit there for the next 2 weeks. And you're just like, oh, no, it's fine. Oh, that wall fell. And no, don't worry about it. It's my foxhole. No, you make it better, right? You're sitting there, and you're like, man, like, this rock's in the way of my elbow. So you dig it, you're doing whatever you got to do. You move it. Okay, that's way better. You know what I mean? You set this up, you move that, you make this little here. Like, you're always doing something. But we've kept that going in our life. Constantly improve your foxhole, right? Don't get stagnant in something you're doing and sit there and be like, no, everything's fine. We're just status quo now, No, you always have to be improving things. And so getting to this next step in all of our branding and everything that we're doing, and we tried to think a little bit outside the box of what we're doing. With our garrison line, the bands, when we sent a couple pictures of them to some people at first just to get feedback on them, it almost looks like we have a secondary. And then you turn it around and there's no secondary band.
It's all one band.
That's it, and it's so instead of having the factory slow down production to place 2 bands on a cigar, having print slow down to make 2 bands, having everything cost more and slow down and everything, we're like, you know what if we cut a little hole in it?
Yeah.
And we call it, hey, is this a capability you guys have? Yeah, we can do that. It's no problem. I'm like, okay, done. You know what I mean? So we looked at it in a whole different way when we were doing this design versus before when we were just like, no, this is a great look for it. Now we're like, okay, how does all of our logistics that go into everything that we're doing, how can we keep it streamlined and keep our timelines down, but make it have that look that we want? And so we put so much thought into everything that we did on this. And I can't wait until this gets in public and I realize what the issue is with it. Because everything has an issue. Right?
Sure.
I don't know what this is yet. Right? In my opinion, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Perfection. Absolutely. This is it. But as soon as it starts getting into shops and everything like that, I'm going to realize that there's some kind of an issue with this that we didn't see,
Yeah.
But I'm ready for it now. Where beforehand, with our original cigars, I was like, no, this is it. This is perfect. This is awesome. This is exactly what we wanted. And then it gets into shops, and then we're hearing the feedback, and it hurt. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was a ding to my pride. So I was like, man, I thought we did a really good job on this. But it was just because we just didn't know at the time.
Well, this is one of the things I appreciate about you and about this. And the reason I wanted to bring all of this to you, in the cigar world, you get exposed to a lot of cigar makers. Guys who have got a brand and a lot of times look like they have it together pretty damn good. The thing about the cigar industry that I love is that this is not a corporatized industry. Like, none of us have it figured out. There's not like a bunch of market research that we look at spreadsheets and we're like, well, we should do this. It's like, how do I do something amazing that I'm passionate about and then do that better again and again and again? This right here represents a perfect mixture of passion matched with wisdom and time and experience. It's innovation through necessity. It's continued growth. These are the kinds of brands that you can grow with as an aficionado, that you can get more out of and appreciate more out of the brand, and that you can expect to be around. And so,
we're not going anywhere.
Thank you, bro. This is fantastic. There's a lot more to see with Warfighter, and we'll be bringing you guys a whole hell of a lot more. But make sure you check this out on the community on Cigars Daily Plus and on Rumble, and drop a comment down below. Is there a Warfighter cigar that's just rocked your world, or maybe one that just confused the hell out of you and this like made it a little bit simpler?
You're not going to hurt our feelings.
Not anymore. You couldn't now. That's right. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. This is Tim and Jon, both signing off for Cigars Daily. We'll see you in the comments.